of Greek or Bosnian origin. Her original name was Helen or Helena. Tafor Handan Sultan was an enslaved servant in the household of Sarah Mehmed Pasha, the Beylerbey of the Rumelia Eyalet. He was the husband of Handan Sultan, daughter of Sultan Selim II, sister of Sultan Murad III, and aunt of Sultan Mehmed III. Mehmed Pasha was a surgeon Sarah and had circumcised Prince Mehmed in 1582. In 1583, when Mehmed was appointed the Sancak Bey of Sarahan, Mehmed Pasha and Handan Sultan decided to let Handan, described as beautiful, into his harem as concubine. Handan became quickly Mehmed's first favorite and gave him at least 4 sons and 2 daughters. When Mehmed ascended the throne for his father's death in 1595, Handan came to Istanbul with him. She was allied with Safiye Sultan against Helene, Mehmed's second favorite and mother of 2 sons and at least 2 daughters. However, she and Safiye didn't really like each other, and Handan never was Haseki Sultan. Handan also had an ally in Razai Hatun, an harem staff member who had helped her to become Mehmed's favorite. When Ahmed ascended the throne, following Mehmed III's death on the 22nd of December 1603, Handan became valid Sultan. As the mother of the new Sultan, she received 1,000 aspas a day. On Friday the 9th of January, the former valid Sultan Safiye Sultan, along with Wazid Mustafa, future Mustafa I, was sent to live in the Eski Old Palace located at the Bayezid Square. Soon after his succession, Ahmed wanted to express his gratitude to Mehmed Pasha and Handan Sultan for the role they had played in bringing his parents together. By then, however, Sarah Mehmed Pasha was old and ailing, and died on the 9th of January 1604. Ahmed, therefore, honored the late Pasha's wife. He also named one of his daughters after her. As a co-regent, she immediately began building up her network of clients and was actively involved in the running of dynastic and imperial affairs. Together with Ahmed's tutor Mustafa Effendi, died 1607 or 1608. Ahmed several times announced his eagerness to go to war. It seems that Handan Sultan and Mustafa Effendi advised him to behave in this manner, in order to give the public the impression that he was capable of ruling the state. He also began to spend a great deal of time outside the palace, notably hunting or conducting incognito inspections, regardless of the weather. Handan Sultan quickly realized that her son could easily put himself in danger and thus needed to be closely watched. She favored her fellow Bosnians at her son's court. She convinced Ahmed to appoint Yavuz Ali Pasha as Grand Vizier and maintained a close relationship with him, especially during the first critical months of Ahmed's reign. In spring of 1604, she and Mustafa Effendi ordered Ali Pasha to take command in Hungary. In August 1604, Ahmed ordered the execution of Deputy Grand Vizier Kasim Pasha, and in January 1605 of his successor, Sarik Mustafa Pasha, and in both cases his decision was approved and encouraged by Handan Sultan and Mustafa Effendi, who were trying to rid the court of clients of Safiye Sultan. Because of Handan Sultan's influence on her son, Dervish Mehmed Aga replaced Bayram Aga as chief gardener in summer of 1604. Whenever Handan, Ahmed, and Dervi gathered in the palace gardens, she made Ahmed promise that he will not do anything contrary to Dervi's words and thoughts. Thanks to Handan's continuous support, he managed to become the first royal favorite of Ahmed. Handan Sultan also acted as an intermediary between her son and other government officials. Any vizier who wanted to communicate with Ahmed had to submit his petition first to her. The contemporary historian Ibrahim Peykavi questioned her wisdom, but legitimized her authority over her son by an old and popular saying, "A mother's right is God's right." Handan Sultan made an endowment, for the maintenance of her husband Mehmed III's tomb and the salaries of its employees. She also made endowments in Kütahya, Menemen and Kilisman. Sinampakor Oklu Mehmed Pasha, who had been married to Pioli Pasha and Gevherhan Sultan's daughter Hatis Handan Sultan, in November 1598, was sent to quell the Jelali rebellions in Anatolia. However, he proved to be ineffective and conducted himself so inappropriately as to arouse suspicions that he had turned a rebel himself. With Handan's intervention, he was forgiven by the Sultan. He returned to Istanbul and took up his duties as vizier. However, he was executed on the 20th of August 1605. Handan, who was already ill at that time, was so shocked by the turn of events that her condition reportedly worsened. Handan Sultan died at the Topkapı Palace on Wednesday, the 9th of November 1605, after a long illness. At her funeral, large amounts of food and alms were distributed for the sake of her soul. She was buried next to her consort in his mausoleum in Hagia Sophia Mosque, Istanbul. Ahmed, despite appeals of the viziers for the customary mourning for 7 days, didn't postpone his departure from Istanbul on campaign against the Jelali revolts. After Handan's death, Kösem Sultan took control of the harem throughout Ahmed's reign and became the highest authority in the harem.